fans, and welcome back to the Brockopp side, and, yeah, Morbius, Jared Leto turns into a vampire because of experimentation, and then Matt Smith turns into an eviler vampire, so then they get to punch each other for a little bit. So just fair warning right now, this is going to be probably the most off-the-cuff review I've ever done. I don't have the strength to do anything else right now. But anyway, if you guys saw the movie too, you should go ahead and comment down below what you thought about it. But also, if you did see it, I'm sorry. So this movie was just delayed so many freaking times, to the point that it just seemed like the trailer was never going to stop playing in the theater, but now it's finally here. And as you can probably see here, I've got the official Morbius fan club t-shirt on. You know, I designed this myself and I had it made ironically because I figured, okay, this is probably not going to be a great movie, but maybe I could at least, you know, have a little fun talking about how bad it is, but no. But don't get me wrong, not everything about this movie's atrocious. I mean, the cameras were in focus the whole time, and, you know, there's like a little bit of color in the lighting scheme, and, you know, I imagine the second AC, you know, the guy that does the film slating and the marking of the actors on the floor so they know where to walk, that guy or gal probably did their job really good, so, you know, round of applause for that person. So, of course, you got Jared Leto as Morbius, and, you know, he's got a tendency to play characters that are, you know, just a little mildly strange, so this should be fairly up his alley, but it just seems like every frame of the movie he's in, he's trying to be just this weird and eccentric, funny kind of guy, but it just didn't work. Along with pretty much every other character in the movie that tries to make jokes. I mean, they're trying, God bless them, but I was just sitting that whole time like, I think probably the only real saving grace of the movie is Matt Smith. At some point during the movie, he just starts hamming it all up in every single scene he's in, and it's like, oh, you're bringing just a smidge, a little bit of joy in there, so thank you, but also, can we stop wasting this guy in blockbusters? Please? You know, not to mention for a movie about a vampire that goes around killing people and sucking their blood, not a lot of blood in the movie, like, hardly any. Like, hell, Morbius drinks artificial blood half the time. It's almost as censored as the 90s cartoon where he wasn't allowed to drink blood, so he drank plasma, and he couldn't suck people's plasma out of their necks with his fangs, so he had like these little weird suction cup thingies. It's like that, but on a slightly bigger scale. And I was all prepared to come here and be like, well, at least it was short. It was only about an hour and 45 minutes, but it didn't feel like that at all. You know, it's not like the two Venom movies where those were like 90 minutes apiece, and it's like, oh shoot, they're over already? No, it's like, this movie is only mildly longer, but I was just sitting there like, please let this end. Is it ever going to end? Please! I mean, the action, forget about it, especially towards the end with the final battle. Good luck making anything out, because it's all just a bunch of weird debris and you can just vaguely see some vampires and stuff in there, so there's that. And I think just the real big problem with this movie as a whole is just the fact they're making a movie about a character that doesn't need a solo movie. You know, Sony got really lucky with the two Venom movies, because, you know, Venom's like an anti-hero sometimes, and you got like these other symbiotes like Carnage and stuff that are super evil, and you can have them throw down and stuff. That works fine, but not for freaking Morbius, who's just, you know, a vampire villain to Spider-Man. And that's another thing too, is because if you had just told me like a couple years ago that Jared Leto was going to play Morbius in like a sequel to Spider-Man Far From Home or No Way Home or whatever, I'd be like, oh, that's actually sounds kind of cool. It'd be like a large $200 million scale version of the Morbius storyline from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, which, by the way, go watch that right now. It's on Disney+. Enjoy that Morbius stuff instead. You'll thank me later. Oh boy! So it's just Sony trying to get every last little dollar of that big Marvel monies, because all they have is Spider-Man and his villains, so they're trying to give all his villains a bunch of movies. It's like, again, with Venom, you got lucky there, but with Morbius, it just comes down to vampire versus slightly worse vampire. And it's a similar trope that a lot of Marvel movies have followed over the last several years, especially these Sony movies. With Venom, it was Venom versus symbiote, and then the second movie, it was Venom versus symbiote. So this one's just vampire versus vampire because that's all you can do. At this point, I'm completely convinced that the upcoming Kraven the Hunter movie is just gonna be Kraven the Hunter versus slightly eviler Kraven the Hunter, and it's just gonna be that for 90 to 100 minutes. Come back to this video in next year and tell me I'm wrong. It's really not too often I can just come home from the screening and come straight in here to give my thoughts like this and just completely have no notes, but just like... Morbius, why? Now, with all the negativity I'm spreading here, if you guys do see the movie and you did enjoy it, that's totally fine with me. Don't let my sour ass ruin your enjoyment of this movie. Honestly, if you find some, I want your autograph. And I guess ultimately, if there's just one little silver lining to this movie existing / finally being out, whatever the hell you want to call it, is that now we never have to see the trailers in the theater ever again. We're free! By the way, those post-credit scenes that everyone's been talking about for the last week before the movie even came out, yeah, they're even more nonsensical in person, so take that how you will. Oh, is it after 5 o'clock yet? Yes, it is. That's good. I don't have a rating lower than this, so I'm gonna have to give Morbius a bronze unboxing machete. So, those are my thoughts on Morbius. If you guys want to see some more reviews from me, you can check out this playlist right over here. Or if you want to see what YouTube recommends you watch me next, you can check out that video right down there. And of course, subscribe if you live, talk, and buy movies, and